I'm Poppy, you're watching Tone Deaf, and we are here with Tim from Rise Again.
I don't hate you, boy, I just want to save you while there's still something left to save you.
So I want to kind of dive straight into it. It's a bit of a heavy question, but I think you can handle it. The Trump presidential campaign, that was in full swing when you were recording Wolves.
Yeah.
And I saw in an interview that you drove past like a billboard that had Trump's face on it, or his campaign logo or whatever, on your way to recording the album each day. What was that like?
Yeah, we were recording our record with Nick Raskulinix, so we were in Nashville, Tennessee. And Nashville, Tennessee itself didn't vote for Trump, but like we were at a studio maybe about maybe a half hour outside of Nashville. So I was leaving the city every morning and driving through the fields and past the country stars mansions and then into like the more rural areas. And there was so many Trump signs, you know. And I think I was like a lot of people, I wasn't taking his candidacy very seriously. Like I knew there were crazy people in America, but I didn't think there were that many crazy people in America. But being down there, it reminded me like, oh yeah, this man is connecting with a lot of Americans, and it scared me because you realize that there was no substance behind his campaign. It was more just like catchphrases and taglines, and really kind of playing to the lowest common denominator of human instincts of like fear and nationalism, and then also kind of giving this permissive wave to ideas of racism and sexism. And so it was illuminating, but it was also inspiring, and it reminded me that by the time I got to the studio, it reminded me like the work we do here is important. You know, we need to be a part of that conversation and that fabric of culture that lets people know this isn't okay, that this isn't normal, and this isn't okay, and these aren't ideas that Americans or really anybody should be embracing.
And you have a lot of really politically charged songs, but you also have a lot of punk songs that aren't politically charged at all.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah. What gives you more satisfaction? Which type of song?
I love the variety. You know what I mean? I think that if we were doing one kind of music or just one kind of message, I think it wouldn't hit as hard. You know what I mean? Like I don't feel pressure to sit down and write a song and make it political every single time I do, you know? And I feel like if I felt that pressure, it might be disingenuous. Like the song was just like, here's the music, and then Tim crammed a bunch of angry lyrics into it. Yeah. Now here's the next one, do it again. You know what I mean? Like to me the song has to it has to kind of bring that out of you, you know? And I think, you know, I'm probably not saying anything surprising to tell you that the singer of Rise Against for the last 18 years has a lot of anger.
That's why we love you.
Right, that's there, that exists, you know what I mean? There's times where I want to write a song that just tries to capture the way I'm feeling, the way hopefully the listener might be feeling and can identify with. But there's never like a game plan or like a strategy behind that. And so therefore, there are a lot of Rise Against songs that are love songs, that are more personal. You know, some of our most popular songs like Savior, have nothing to do with politics, you know. And to me, I'm grateful that it was never a plan, but I'm grateful that we never painted ourselves into a corner and being like, this is the kind of band you are, this is the kind of song you have to do. And instead we can do things like Swing Life Away, but then also do songs like Wolves off the latest record, or State of the Union, or just, you know, just blistering fast hardcore songs that are just unadulterated rage, you know. We did stupid stuff. We were, as teenagers, so I'll tell you about myself as a teenager. I don't drink, and I never drank. I don't do drugs, and I never did drugs. All my friends did, you know, but I was the one guy who didn't. When you don't drink throughout your adolescence, there's a lot of time to occupy, right? Because drinking and partying, that takes up a lot of our adolescence. If you don't do that, there's a lot of spare time. So
I have a feeling I know what you're getting into.
so
yeah.
I did things that were probably much worse than drinking or partying. Basically, is what
More
I'm saying.
illegal, yeah.
We were destructive. We were vandals. We blew stuff up.
What did you blow up?
Oh, what did we blow up? Mostly, we would try to just blow up whatever the town we lived in thought was important.
Was there a statue that was blown up?
Statues, or
Oh
just
my
like a
God.
garbage can somewhere, or just like we'd go through your trash when you were throwing away a big TV, and we'd throw it off the top roof of the parking garage, you know.
Yeah.
Or if you were throwing out your whole dining room set, we would take that and set it up in your intersection. So like the coffee table,
yeah.
TV,
All set.
yeah, it was just perfect, you know, like the couch, it'd be right there in the middle of the intersection. We did dumb stuff, and we all did some dangerous stuff too. And I'm probably lucky that I'm still here
Yeah.
talking to you right now. And then it's funny because as I became a musician and ended up being in this band, something that I wasn't prepared for was this sort of that level of scrutiny that is all of a sudden thrusted upon you. You know what I mean? So I feel like I became a more well-behaved person because it was like, oh wait, people like recognize me and know who I am, and there's more repercussions to my stupid behavior. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It was all kind of sobering.
Yeah. Okay. If you weren't writing or making music, what would you be doing?
I don't. It's interesting because if I wasn't writing or making music, I wouldn't be the person that I am, you know. And when I think about that, it's that person is someone I don't really even recognize. You know what I mean? Because I think creative people, you have to create to be happy. You know what I mean? Which is why we should do anything, is to be happy, right? And that's that's kind of the engine that sort of churns inside me, is I need to be creating. The times when I'm unhappy are times when I'm not creating, and when I'm blocked up and I'm not getting things out. I don't know what I would imagine the things that were really interesting to me growing up, especially as I got into school. I got really interested in the way people work. I was really excited about all of the sociology classes that I took in college, that kind of thing. It was all really illuminating. You know what I mean? It was all very like things that you thought you figured out on your own, and then when you learn, actually, this is the way humanity is, the way society is. This is the way we've been for a long time. There's a reason why we do everything. There's a reason why we behave the way we do. That stuff was really interesting to me. And so I think I would have loved to have explored that world more.
So a sociology teacher or a philosophy teacher or
Yeah,
something?
or just an eternal student of it. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
yeah.
Just kind of always, because I feel like when I was learning about, kind of just like the human condition and who we are, I felt like it was something that I thought should be mandatory that everyone learns these things. Like we formulate opinions based on the way we interact with the world, sometimes without the knowledge that someone has already figured this out. And like your opinion may be based on this one experience you had, good or bad, but actually there's a lot of reason behind it. There's a lot of reason why we have a class system in the world. There's a lot of reason why we take care of poor people on this planet. There's a lot of reason why the rich are rich, or there's reasons why we end up going to war. They're not just your kind of shotgun opinion that you've judged based off of a headline. There's well-documented history about here's why we do these things, and here's the repercussions of our actions.
And that's why education is so important, to learn that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And especially as we increasingly live in a world where we create our own realities, which we should not be able to do. You know what I mean? Like there are facts that matter. There's science that matters. There are sociological issues that matter. And when we dismiss them as something that's maybe elite, then we create this world that is much more fictitious than it is
In the bubble.
than it is real, and our opinions matter more than facts. And it's a weird untethering from like reality that happens, and you watch it happen. You watch it happen on the news, you watch it happen on the street, and it's really incredible that we've come to this place.
And that's really interesting because that ties into celebrity or public figures or people that people really care about their opinions, like yourself. That's why you speaking about your opinions through your music is really important, because there's so many other voices out there that are giving opinions that aren't necessarily the ones that we should be listening to.
Yeah, and we all find, information through culture in different ways, and music speaks to people in a way that nothing else does, And if music is important to you, and if you're like a music lover, music is like the most important thing sometimes. I think there are studies that actually show that if you are if you are in your adolescence and music is a very important part of your life, that it is a bigger influence on your worldview than your parents, your teachers, your friends, peers, religion, your work, anything. Everything. It trumps all those things.
That's huge.
When I first saw that and read that, I thought, that's crazy, that can't be right. And then I thought about how important music was to me, and how the bands I listened to were so important to me. And I thought, you know what it did? It trumped all those things. And so when you consider that, then you have to acknowledge the weight of responsibility behind your music. And that's not to say I think that all music needs to be heavy and political and talking about the world. I think there's definitely a place for pop music. There's definitely a place for music as purely escapism. I think that I don't want the Ramones to get political either. You know what I mean? Like, I think that there's a great place for all kinds of music. Some of my favorite bands have nothing to do with politics at all. But if you have something weighing on you, like weighing on your chest that you want to get out, and if you have a message that you are holding back as a musician or anything because you're afraid of the repercussions of it, you're afraid of alienating an audience member, something like that, then I would urge you, stop holding back. If you have that, then I would definitely encourage you, yes, make your music political, because make your music you and who you are, and make an extension of who you are. And that I get excited about that. We were just in Melbourne 2 nights ago, and we had a day off, and Roger Waters was playing down the street, and I didn't grow up listening to Pink Floyd. I grew up listening to Black Flag, But I got to see this one of the most incredible political artists of our time, put together this show where no matter what format the music was or could be, you're watching music, impact people based on the messaging behind his show and the songs, and connecting dots, especially as a guy who has lived through the 70s and the 80s and 90s, and now bringing these songs full circle back to relevancy, here in 2018. It's incredible. And that's the kind of music that's the kind of music I'm interested in. And so I hope that Rise Against is something that connects with people in that way, and finds, we're not for everybody, but I think we find people that have that same appetite that we have.
I think it's already happening. You have longtime fans for decades now, so it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
If you could live behind the eyes of any frontman in history and just sit there and view the world from their perspective, who would you choose?
I think the frontman that has been most inspiring to me, or the front person that's been most inspiring to me, was always Ian MacKaye from Fugazi and Minor Threat. And it's funny because even being such a big fan of Ian MacKaye, he would be anti this question. He'd be like, live through your own eyes, see the world through your own world. Don't live through mine, don't be nostalgic about what I do or what I did, create your own journey there. But I always felt like a band like them, they kind of, no matter how rough the waters were going, no matter which way the wind was blowing, like Fugazi and Minor Threat, just kind of always just burned through all of it, like a freight train. And they were not affected by the world, the culture around them, or the way music was supposed to work and supposed to be, and the venues they were supposed to play, or the ticket prices they were supposed to charge, or they never even did merchandise, things like that. And I would love to kind of, I don't know, it seems like living behind his eyes, it seems like such a calm place to have that sort of, that unquestioning resolve of this is who we are, this is what we do, and the rest of the world can fuck off.
I feel like we should all live like that.
there's a lot to learn there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Tim.
thank you. Yeah,
Cheers.
my pleasure.